So what finally freaked us out, and we were like, okay, we got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. We had been out there for probably a few hours, and we let it get the closest that it got to us. My doors started unlocking on my car.
Meanwhile, let me pass on the good word about the new
Wonky Times.
Richard Fuller.
Wonky Times.
They'll say it's incredible.
Wonky Times.
Well,
Wonky Times. Hello. Welcome to the Wonky Times podcast. I am your host, RoboBrian.
And I'm your other host, Matt Sterner. Thanks for joining us this week. I don't know if you missed it last week. We talked to Robert. He told us all about his ex-girlfriend's spooky follower. A ghost was hanging around, causing chaos. Ooh.
It was quite the clingy ghost, wasn't it? Come to think of it, I hope you never think I'm clingy.
Oh, heck no, Brian. You're practically my best friend. Hey, but speaking of friends, Sam Jump is back on the program. What's up, Sam?
What up?
Welcome to the show.
She's here. She's a knower of all things. She knows everything. She likes conspiracies.
I do appreciate inner knowledge and alternative perspectives, I would dare say.
Well, we've got a spooky interview again this week.
Good grief. I'm still sleeping with my lights on. Last week's episode gave me the creeps.
As a matter of fact, maybe you should start turning your light off, Brian, because this one is about a creepy light. It's a spooky light that appears when you flash your headlights 3 times in a certain Texas town.
I don't believe I have headlights. No need for them since I have night vision. I also have X-ray vision.
Hey, watch out, Sam. Don't let RoboBrian stare at you too long.
I have been warned. Good thing I wear this X-ray vest with me wherever I go.
We'll get to that scary ghost light story in just a moment, but first I want to show you both some spooky sounds, specifically sounds that have been recorded underwater. I've got 5 of them. Are you guys ready?
Go for it.
Hit it, Matt.
Okay, here's the first sound. Okay, what do you think that was?
Man, that sounds like last summer when I gave you that kazoo and you got all wily.
That's the sound of nightmares.
But yeah, that was a knock, an NOC. It's the other word for a beluga whale. Beluga
whale.
And they're known for making human-like vocalizations like that. That clip was actually recorded by a Navy diver in 1984. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
All right, this next sound is something scientists heard in the water back in 1991. Brace yourselves. That was weird, right?
Sounds like one of those video games when the player is like trapped underwater and there's an alarm blaring, like they don't want to get out.
Yeah, it did kind of sound like an alarm. They call this sound an upsweep. They believe it originates from the middle of the Pacific Ocean floor. It's never been identified, and that was back in 1991, so they don't know what that is.
So that sound just comes from the earth.
Perhaps someone was cleaning up and vacuuming down there on the ocean floor.
Super deep sea divers. Deep sea sweepers.
Okay, here's the next sound. They call that one the bioduck. It was recorded in the 1960s by submarine sailors. The nickname for these guys were quackers, and they were actually following the submarine at 125 miles per hour. So whatever that sound was, chasing the submarine. Kind of creepy.
It's like the scene from Jeepers Creepers. It's terrifying.
Oh, with the van coming up.
I feel like I'm beginning to rust with all of these underwater noises.
All right, and this next sound comes from 7 miles down in the Mariana Trench. It's actually quiet down there most of the time, so it was weird that they recorded this back in 2015. Here it is. So what you just listened to was the moans of a baleen whale.
I hope that whale was okay. It sounded awfully sad.
And this next one might just be the scariest, creepiest, and wonky of them all. So just, sit down for this one. Just kidding. That was the That was the sound of Flipper from the old TV show. Remember that show?
Well, flipper me timbers.
The TV show Celebrity Flipper. Yeah, I wonder if do dolphins actually make that sound? It's kind of weird.
Flipper's voice was actually the sound of a kookaburra bird. The dolphin's chattering was created with sped-up recordings of the Australian feathered friend.
Really?
Yeah, so I guess they used the sound effect of that bird. Do you know what that bird looks like, Sam?
No. I remember a song. I remember a song in elementary school about the kookaburra sitting in the old gum tree.
Well, listen to this. This is a kookaburra bird laughing.
That's incredible.
It sounds like Woody Woodpecker, doesn't it?
It's like an amped up Woody Woodpecker.
That bird's had too much coffee.
It's one caffeinated kookaburra.
That bird sounds a little like my mother.
So now, yeah, enough of those sounds. Let's get to the chat I had with our friend Angel. He likes taunting ghosts, apparently. But first, a short commercial break brought to you by Wonky Pet Portraits.
Wonky Times will be right back after this short commercial break.
When Polly came into my life, I had no idea how much I needed the level of companionship that a dog provides. She lights up my life. And now, thanks to Matt Sterner and Wonky Pet Portraits, I have this incredible painting of her that celebrates the fun, cool, confident gal that she is. Everyone should have a chance to see their pet through Matt's eyes.
So what are you waiting for? Head over to wonkypetportraits.com to turn your pet companion into a real work of art. Okay, here's my interview with Angel, and if you hear any spooky noises in the background, that's just my dog, Polly. She's a beagle. She likes to bark, but yeah, here's the interview. Okay, so tell me all about the Anson Lights, or the Anson Ghost Lights. There's different names for it, right?
Right. Yeah, so the Anson Ghost Lights, there's a small town in Texas just northwest of Abilene. I had a group of friends that we like to go find haunted things, scary places, and that.
Wait, so you guys would just go out and look for haunted things? I always try to avoid that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I think most people do, but
like haunted houses, I can't go into those. But you guys would actually go out looking for this stuff.
Right, yeah, we would go out looking for it. Something about it just always drew me in for some reason. Mm. Same with my friend group. You know, we like to be a little bit scared, a little bit on edge. Mm. So we heard about the Anson Lights, and that was pretty much at that time like the most haunted, creepiest thing that we had heard about around that area. So the first time we went out there, it was me and 3 of my other friends.
So you would go out there like in your car, right?
Right, we would go out in our car. There's a cemetery in Anson, so there's an Allsups. You have to go down.
Which is a gas station, right?
A gas station.
Yeah, okay.
You go down past the Allsups. There's the cemetery and a dirt road next to the cemetery. So you turn down that dirt road and you go down to a crossroad. And that's where you turn your car around and you turn your car off, turn your lights off, and you flash your brights 3 times. And that's when the light appears on the horizon.
And so it has to be 3 times?
Has to be 3 times flashing. And you have to have your lights off, right? Mm-hmm. So then you see a light on the horizon, a faint light, and it starts dancing down the road. It's kind of
just getting closer to you.
Getting closer and closer. And supposedly the longer you wait, it gets closer and closer, and the more strange things will start to occur. Mm-hmm. So the first time we went out there, we did it a few times, stayed out there maybe an hour and a half, a couple hours. And we started getting a little creeped out, and we're like, okay, this is really weird. we were like, okay, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But we were just so intrigued that we had to go back again, because it was like, okay, we have to really try to see this through, and we wanted to see how close we could let it get to us.
Does it make any kind of like noise or anything as it's coming towards you, or is it just a silent light.
Just a silent, creepy light.
Or I've read online about this light, and it says if someone disrespects the light by taunting it or cursing at it, it'll turn red.
Ooh.
What color was the light when you guys saw it? Was it just like a normal, like the same color as your headlights kind of a light, like a white light?
Yeah, like a whitish, maybe whitish, yellowish type light.
Mm-hmm. You know, I looked into this a little bit, and it says that some of the stories say that it's caused by the ghost of a woman who lived in Anson in the 1800s. Have you heard of that? Is that
right?
Like,
yeah, that was a story that we heard about. There was a woman, I believe, that lost her son, and so the light is supposed to be the lantern of her out searching for her son.
Yeah, I read that the light appears because she's looking for him. I guess she had 3 boys. They were sent out to chop wood one night, and then they were told if they were encountered with any trouble, they should flash their lanterns 3 times.
Right.
So that's why now when you flash your lights in that specific area in Anson, this light comes toward you. That's pretty creepy.
Right. Now, I remember that they said, the boys were supposed to have lanterns, and they were supposed to flash their lanterns 3 times. Yeah, and I remember that's why they said we had to flash our lights 3 times. It's very strange, but it worked. Anytime we went out there, and anytime any of my friends went out there, it works every time.
When was the last time you did this?
Oh, wow.
I kind of want to go to Anson, Texas now.
I would like to go back again for sure. But the last time I did this, probably in 2001, somewhere around 2001.
Yeah, in the 90s, there was a late 90s movie called Urban Legends, and if they flashed their lights on the street at another car, it would turn around and like kill them or something like that. So I'm glad the Anson Lights is nothing like that.
Oh yeah, well I hope not at least.
Or someone else wasn't out there when you were flashing these lights.
Right.
Okay, and then that wasn't. I mean, you've been out there multiple times, right?
Right. So after the first time, my friend group and I got together, and we really wanted to go out there and kind of see it through a little bit more. We wanted to see how close we could let the lights get to us, and what would happen if we did stay out there, because we heard about more supernatural type things happening the longer people stay out there. So we went out there a second time, and my friend brought a camera. It had like night vision on it.
Oh, wow.
And what have you. We started out just seeing how far we could let it get to us, just kind of getting warmed up to it again, and and it worked.
You were a little more brave this second time around.
We were definitely more brave this second time around. And then we decided, okay, we're going to drop our friend off with the camera down at the end of the road at the beginning of the cemetery. Mm. And we started doing, flash our lights, and we were going to see, okay, can he see the light from where he's at down at the end of the road? Okay. And so he was never able to see it, but we could see it coming as soon as we flashed our lights. But then we continued we went and picked him up because he couldn't see it, and we decided to just keep doing it and then see how close we could let it get to us. So what finally freaked us out, and we were like, okay, we got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. We had been out there for probably a few hours, and we let it get the closest that it got to us. My doors started unlocking on my car, just randomly. And it was actually only the passenger door that was unlocking. Ooh. And my passenger was like, "Did you unlock the door?" And I was like, "No." And they locked it. And then it unlocked again, and we were like, okay, we're done. Were
these powered locks? Like, yeah. Okay, wow.
So that was really strange, and we were like, okay, it's time to get out of here, because we didn't know what was gonna happen. So
you never went back after that?
Never went back after that, but I am definitely down to go back out there.
Okay,
again.
I was about ready to ask you, would you go back?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, I would go back.
Yeah, so like after you saw these lights, did you feel different? Did you notice anything different about yourself, or like did anything change after you saw this light come towards you?
Well, I had never seen any kind of physical manifestation of any kind of actually no, that's not true. I have seen a ghost one time. Oh. But when I was younger.
Okay, so before this. Yeah.
Before this, yeah, when I was younger, after my grandfather died.
Okay.
But yeah, this was It definitely made me see things about life and reality a little bit differently, seeing like wow, this is something that's unexplained that seems to manifest itself for anybody that comes out here and does this. And so I think any kind of experience that I've had, whether it was seeing a ghost, seeing the UFO that I experienced, all of it has kind of reshaped the way I think about life and the way I see things and just what I see as possible, in this reality.
So yeah, are you guys planning any visits to Texas soon after hearing that interview?
Not
creepy.
per se. Yeah, it's very cool. I love the storytelling, the folklore, very La Llorona vibing.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could flash my headlights and summon this thing. I don't know if I would do that or not. Would you?
No, I mean, that goes full circle back to the vision of something chasing me at a speed that I wouldn't want to necessarily be driving in Texas at night.
I'm glad I don't drive. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm perfectly happy right here, next to my charging port, force-limiting feedback sensors, and lubricants.
And then Angel said, like, the second time he went out there, his passenger door unlocked. Like,
Yeah.
it was, I think, unlocked. Yeah.
Absolutely not. What's that movie where they get abducted and then they get taken to this like other dimension or other place where they can't escape, and like one of them wakes up without legs, one of them wakes up without arms?
Oh, yeah, that was called The Signal.
Yeah.
Directed by William Eubank or Eubank. I think probably Eubank. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. They ended up waking up in a facility like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Spoiler.
But yeah,
I already did that, I guess.
these type of ghost stories are pretty common, I feel, in a lot of like different cultures, like not just in Anson, Texas. There's like other things creeping people out. And then Sam, you were saying something about La Llorona. It's kind of like,
And I am not strongly versed in this, but La Llorona was about the woman whose children drowned or something in some way in the water, and then she's just kind of stuck now. Like La Llorona was like an attached entity to the village that she supposedly had lived in. Like she's just in that village moaning and crying out over the mourning of her children.
all along the Rio Grande River. And I remember I camped out there once, and I kept thinking, I'm going to hear her crying walking down the river, and I was stressing myself out the whole time. But
You hear a cow mooing and you're like, that's her.
well, Sam, thanks for joining Brian and I on this spooky episode with scary oceanic sounds and weird lights in Texas. It was a pretty cool show.
Yeah, nice diverse layers of wonky.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Later, Gators.
Well, anyways, this wraps up this week's episode, though. Aww. I know. Don't forget, though, to subscribe, buy a t-shirt, maybe a baseball hat, a fanny pack. We've got all kinds of crap in our Wonky Times store.
Plus, if you have seen anything strange, we would love to hear about it. Email us at getwonky@wonkytimes.com for a chance to be featured in an upcoming episode of the Wonky Times podcast.
Well, that's it. Thanks for getting wonky with us, everybody. It's time for Matt and
RoboBrian
to get the heck out of here.